Hey guys, Zizzac here, back with another Monsuno review. I actually just went to one of my local Walmarts and they were just about to put these out. They were still in the boxes on the floor ready to be stocked, and I happened to grab some. So this is one of the 2-packs that is going to be available. There's going to be 2 different kinds of 2-packs. There's the team packs, which is going to be 2 Monsunos from the same manufacturer, team, whatever. And then there's versus packs, which has someone from one team opposing from the other team. Usually it's a Cortec member and someone else. So here we have Lock and Evo. Both of these are going to be the main character of the anime's Monsunos. These are Chase's Monsunos. So inside, you got 2 cores, and I actually noticed that the cores are actually different colors for each Monsuno. I didn't know that. The 2 figures, and 6 cards, 3 for each one. I'm assuming these are the same exact thing as the single packs, where you get 1 core, 1 figure, and 3 cards. I'm assuming the cards are the same that you get in the single pack. So here's the front. It's got a really cool picture of Lock and Evo up here. And the cool thing is, on the side and on the tops of the packaging, you get little info on the Monsuno. So here you see number 1, the monster is Lock, the controller is Chase, the element is hexagonal diamond. Maybe, I guess in the anime they make the Monsuno by, I don't know, getting a resource and putting it with this Monsuno energy to make one of these guys? I don't know. But each Monsuno has a weird, like, resource element. And his special attack is Power Harness, and you see the Cortec logo down there. Also, he's number 1. And on this side, you have Evo stats. Evo is number 9. Controller is again Chase. The element is Blue Diamond instead of Hexagonal Diamond. And the special attack is Thunder Barrage. On the back, up here at the top, you've got the same stats that are on the side of the package. Lock and Evo. You've got little instructions on how to play. Load, fold Monsuno figure and load into core with green peg tip facing in. Apparently it's a little different because they don't actually have, the pegs aren't actually all green, they just have a little green dot on them. Push inward until the Monsuno figure clicks into place. Put index finger on the core open side, aim, and then press down in a backspin motion to launch into spin. And launch against another core or solid object to release Monsuno figure upon impact. And it says visit the website for more rules. So Lock and Backslash battling again. And down here you see a little lineup of all the Monsuno that are going to be out. This isn't all of them, because obviously this ends at number 8, and Evo is number 9 up here, so there's all them. And you can actually see, I never noticed this before, but the cores are colored to match the specific Monsuno. Like Lock's is dark blue and white, Quick Force's is a light blue and a gray. It's pretty cool. And the same advertisements as was on the Wild core. And nothing on the bottom. And this does have a little try me, I guess, where you can spin one of the cores, just one of them. It doesn't really work all that well though. Alright, so let's get these open in the package and show you what all comes inside. Alright guys, so here's everything you get in the package. You might have noticed that I've got the poster board gone. We'll get to that in a second. You get your 2 cores, 2 figures, 6 cards, and a combat manual. Now, the manual here is for, as you can see, intermediate play. Now, apparently there's 3 basic ways to play the game. There's basic, intermediate, and advanced. Now, with these intermediate rules here, there's actually 2 different ways to play. The basic game, I'm assuming, is the one they showed at the Toy Fair, where it's just you spin your core, you and your opponent spin your core. If one figure pops out, you get 1 point. If both figures pop out, you get 2 points. First to 5 points wins. I think that's just the basic game. For this intermediate game, you see we have the quick core combat, So the rules are: each player is trying to defeat the opposing player's Monsuno by reducing its hit points to 0. For this version of the game, players will only use their Monsuno card that matches their Monsuno figure. Strike cards are not used. We'll get to those in a second. Alright, so before we get into the rules, let's look at what actually comes with the set. So here is Lock himself. Okay, so here's just a real close-up look at the core itself. You can see, like I said earlier, it's light blue with white paint and a little bit of gray detail. The camera is actually making it look a lot lighter than it actually is. You can see Lock actually shoved in there. And then on one side you have the Cortec logo, and I thought this was a button, but it actually is not. And on the other side you have it open with Lock's little feet sticking out. Some kind of little serial number there. And here's the switch that will lock and unlock the Monsuno. If it's closer to the outside, it is unlocked, and that means if you hit it hard enough, it will pop out. If it's towards the middle, though, like that, it's not going to pop out. So let's actually pop him out and see what he looks like. Okay, so the way he gets popped out is when he hits something hard enough, there's a little stage, essentially, in there that will push him out. When he comes out, he will automatically transform a little bit. So just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to smack him on the table here, and he will shoot out. So here we go. There he goes. He doesn't usually land on his feet, but this Lock. Alright, so here he is when he first comes out. He's pretty much done. You just gotta get his back feet here. So these back legs fold out like that. And the same over here. And he's done. So here he is. He's a white tiger, polar bear, wolf thing. He is a little floppy, if you haven't noticed. They're kind of flimsy, but they kind of have to be to... It's kind of the whole point, is that they pop open and automatically transform. You can see they tried to give him eyes, but I think it might just have gotten scratched off. So yeah, you see this little green dot up here? Whenever you fold him up, this green dot will be sticking out. That green dot is what you put into the core, like the instructions said. And you can see on the bottom of him here, on his chest, if I pull his arms up, he's got a little... Is it a hexagon? Yeah, hexagon with a 40 inside, and it has one little line coming off the top left going up. That is his strike number, and we'll get into that when we get to the rules. So articulation-wise, he doesn't have too much going on. His arms do move up and down, but that's because of the transformation. And they also go a little in and out. They're on a hinge up here. So they do go in and out a little bit. His stomach, I guess, can curl up like that. Again, transformation. And his legs manually fold up like that. The arms, as you can see, are on springs, and so is this stomach. Not a very strong spring, but it is on a spring. The only manual parts are his feet back here, and also his back spikes are on a spring as well. So that's Lock. Oh, and also articulation-wise, his hips up here do move manually. So to put him back in his core, what you need to do is fold his feet up, just like that, and then fold his whole stomach in. It's on two little joints until that green peg is sticking out horizontal. And make sure his feet are not past that peg. Fold them up as much as you can, like that. And you just kind of have to hold on to them. These don't lock in place or anything, so you have to hold on to them, otherwise they just pop back open. His arms go up, and then they go in a little bit. Let me flip him around. And then you kind of just need to push in on a spike back here. Take the core, and you can see in there, there's a hole. And you can actually see that that's that stage part that will push up when he impacts something. That'll push him up. So you just take Lock, put him in there. Once you get him in, you know, once he's in there far enough, you don't have to hold everything anymore. And you push him in, and you'll hear him lock in place. That was not a pun. And now he's ready to go. Okay, so let's look at the cards that come with Lock. I'm assuming it's these 3 cards. Before I go on, I just wanted to point out, I don't know if you can see it on my camera, you can kind of see it there, but these cards are cheap. They're already all frayed and have been either very badly cut whenever they came off the print, or they were just packaged very roughly. And they're just very cheap feeling cards. Nothing compared to like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon, Magic. They're definitely cheap. So you can see that the backs have different colors. These 2 are the strike cards, the white, gray, silver color. The black one is the Monsuno card. So here is Lock's Monsuno character card. And you can see, picture Lock. This number up here is his hit points, has 150. There's a 20 up here, still no idea what that does. His launch is 6, his speed is 2. Has his name in the middle there. It says he's a beast type, I guess. And a little flavor text says, according to Storm, Lock may be the linchpin. Then down here you see a purple icon, the same that was on that the Lava Strike card from last time. A green icon, and a 50 beside it. These numbers down here are for a powered up strike, and we'll get to that when we get to the rules. So there's Lock. Here's the first of the strike cards. This one is called Thunder Barrage. If you remember, it's Evo special attack on the package. You can, of course, there's Evo there. You can see it's got a red icon and a purple icon. Launch 2, speed 3. He has another 2 in this little circle. Special direct. Evo is in bold, and it says your foe's printed powered up strike damage is changed to 10 for this combat. A yellow icon down there for the powered up strike. Again, we'll get to that. And then here is Turbo Strike. That's Glowblade there. Red icon, yellow icon, launch 2, speed 3. Green icon down here, another direct card. And it has a flavor text from Biel, I don't know how to pronounce that. It says, the path of the devious only leads to retribution. I just noticed he has like palm trees in the background, that's weird. So there's Lock's cards. Now let's take a look at Evo. Alright, so here's Evo's core. It's the same shape and design as Lock's, just different colors. It's a much darker blue, and it has orange where his white was, and white where his gray was. You can see Evo shoved in there. Same exact design. Same lock. Same logo. And that's part of his neck you can see there. So let's get him popped out. And he actually pops out much stronger than Lock does, so it can actually be fun and slam it on his bottom and watch him shoot up. Like that. So Evo comes out like this. Evo's got a lot of manual parts. So what you need to do now is his winglets here fold out like that on both sides. On his belly he's got 2 more wings that come out, revealing his little strike icon down there. Then his feet come down, back here, and then his tail comes up in 2 different places like that. So there's Evo all opened up. Very cool. And it really is impressive how much detail and moving parts they get on these tiny, tiny little figures. I mean, you can see my huge man thumb over here. These guys are very tiny. And you can see his strike icon is another hexagon with 10, and it has lines going off all of them, compared to Locks that just have the 1 line. You can see his neck is very, very flimsy, because the spring is on the actual neck joint underneath him. So that's always a little flimsy. So his moving parts are, of course, that neck joint, the wings here, and that's the only actually springed parts. The neck piece and the 2 wings. Everything else is manual. So posability, not much on this guy. You can kind of move the wings. You can't really pose the wings because they just spring back. The bottom wings you can. You can make them come out much, much more to make it look like one big wing, or you can separate them, however you want to do it. And his tail is a little posable because it's on 2 different joints. You can get some posability. And his feet don't go down any further than that, so you get a little posability there. So there's Evo. To fold him back up to go in his core, fold his feet up, fold his tail in on both little parts. His little belly wings, close them up all the way. Fold his wings in, like that. And then the wings will fold back, and the neck will come up, just like that. And he makes a perfect little cylindrical shape. So his core is the same as Locks. Shove him in, and Locks in place. There's Evo. Okay, now let's look at Evo's cards. You again get 1 Monsuno card and 2 strike cards. Here's Evo's Monsuno character card. Cool picture of Evo there. It's the same exact picture of Evo there, just with more effects. His hit points are 130. He's got a 10 up here instead of a 20. Launch 5, speed 2, a 2 in the circle, soaring, 40 for his powered up strike and a green and yellow. And his little ability is this Monsuno gets plus 10 damage to its direct strike cards. So a direct strike card would be, for instance, his Thunder Barrage and Lock's Turbo Strike card. So there's him. A strike card called Hurriclaw that's got Glowblade again. Actually a different picture of Glowblade this time. 20 up here. A green and yellow icon. Launch 2, speed 2. It says it's heroic. And another flavor text from Bial that says, "Destiny could not make sense to those that choose to run from it." I guess he's like a Yoda or something in this series. And then we got another strike card with Lock on it, thankfully a different picture, called Inner Shine, and you actually see his chest is glowing there. 20 up here, yellow and red icons, green icon for the powered up strike. Launch 1, speed 8, that's really fast. A 2 in the circle, and it says that special, Lock is in bold. This card gains plus 20 damage if your Lock has 2 cards attached. So there's that. I wish I could explain these to you, but there's no rules yet, so sorry. Okay, now let's take a look at the rules for the quick core combat. Again, this is apparently the intermediate one. So here's the setup. It says the battlefield needs to be about 2 feet apart. Play in a smooth, flat surface only. Each player will only have the core, their Monsuno figure that goes with the core, and their Monsuno card that goes with that figure. Each player starts with a core Monsuno figure and matching Monsuno card. The space between the players is the battlefield. When the battlefield is set, both players say Monsuno ready. So there's a combat tip from Chase here that says practice your technique and tells you how to spin it. Place index finger on core, aim and press down into backspin motion. Apply less backspin motion for a long distance launch. So number 1, spin off. To determine which player attacks first, at the beginning of the game, both players launch their cores while saying Monsuno launch. The player whose core spins the longest is the attacker for the first combat. The other player becomes the defender. And it actually says later on what you need to do, so pretty much to see who goes first, instead of playing like rock, paper, scissors or something, you get your core, you lock it by moving that switch closer to the middle, and you both launch your Monsuno on the count of launch. So think of it like 3, 2, 1, go, but it's Monsuno launch. So on launch, you both spin. Whoever spins the longest is going to be the attacker, and whoever the other person will be the defender. You're not supposed to hit the other person's core when you're doing this. It's just a simple who spins the longest. So step 2 is launch. The defender says Monsuno launch, then launches his or her core into a spinning motion within the battlefield area. The attacker has one chance to launch his or her core towards impact with the defender's spinning core. If the attacker misses, the turn is over. If the attacker's core impacts, combat begins. So whoever lost the spin-off, spins theirs first, then the attacker has one chance to try and hit theirs. If they miss, they skip their turn, essentially. If they hit, we go to this step. So here's the combat. If the attacker's core impacts with the defender's core, and one or more Monsuno figures are released, attacker says Monsuno combat. If you haven't guessed, to do anything in this game, you have to say Monsuno first. And the defender's Monsuno takes damage equal to the values on all Monsuno figures that were released from their cores. Subtract the total strike damage from the defender's hit points. Damage can be tracked with coins or small counters. So you can see it says if both figures popped out here, in this example Lock and Moonfire, Lock has a 40, Moonfire has a 10. So you'd add that up to 50, and your opponent would take the 50 damage to their Monsuno. 140 minus 50, they'd have 90 left. So after that, the person who was the attacker becomes the defender, and vice versa. And you just take turns spinning and launching. Whoever runs out of hit points first loses. So, you can't tell. When you spin, if one figure pops out, you just take that number on the figure away from the opponent's hit points. But if you make both figures pop out, you'll add them together, and you still take both of those from your opponent. So that's the gist of Quick Core Combat by itself. But there's rules for a second game on here on the other side, called Quick Core Combat Plus Strike Card. As you can see, it's the next level of gameplay. It says Strike Cards. Build the deck of strike cards to use during combat. Optimal deck size is 5 to 10 cards. Before game begins, shuffle cards and place face down next to your Monsuno card. So this is once littler kids have mastered playing the basic game of just launching and first to 5 wins, they can start playing with these rules, and this is more of just like a color matching thing, if anything. So it says attach strike card. If during a turn at least one Monsuno figure is released from the core, attacker can attach or use a strike card. When attaching a strike card, slide it under the Monsuno card so that only the bottom portion of the strike card is available. Now, something it immediately has not told us is when you draw cards from this deck. I think it means you keep them face down, and then when it hits, you just take the top card off and set it under your Monsuno card. So essentially, the second time you do a combat, you'll have 2 cards underneath it. And it says powered up. Once a Monsuno card has 2 strike cards attached with strike types that match the powered up strike on the Monsuno card, the Monsuno is powered up. So you remember, all of these cards have a little icon on the bottom. So let's say there's been, let's see, does any of these guys have it? Yeah, there we go. Let's say there's been 2 battles, and on that, let's say there's already been a battle, and this one got under lock with the green icon. Your second battle starts, then you can put another card underneath it. Now you can do the powered up strike, because you have a purple and a green, and that's all Lock needs to do is powered up strike. So it says, a player can only use the powered up strike when acting as the attacker. Once the powered up strike is used, all attached strike cards must be removed and discarded. Again, not really clear on when exactly to use it, but I'm assuming when a figure has popped open and you're the attacker, then you can discard those cards from underneath your Monsuno card and add that number next to it to your strike total. Then we have some FAQ on the very end that says, during spin-off, when do I lock my core? Core should be in the locked position during the spin-off to prevent Monsuno figures from releasing. During the rest of the game, the core is kept in the unlocked position. Should cores impact during the spin-off? No, they should not. During combat, what happens if cores impact, but no Monsuno figures release? In Quick Core Combat and Quick Core Combat Plus, no combat takes place. Visit the website for more details. And what happens if Monsuno figures only partially releases? If any portion of the figure protrudes from its core, it counts as a full release. I've only had this happen once so far with Lock, where he just kind of little popped out and his feet were sticking out. But I don't think it's that often of a thing. So at the bottom of the instructions, or the manual, you have a little section called What You Need to Know. It says core, and tells you how to lock it. Your figure. It says for complete combat icon rules and collector's information, go to the website. Combat icon. Each Monsuno figure has a combat icon located on its body. For Quick Core Combat Plus, the combat icon represents the basic strike damage. The Monsuno card. Hit points, powered strike. The only things you need to know for the games that come with this. And then strike card. Again, you only need to look at that little icon at the bottom for this game. So, that's it for the Quick Core Combat and Quick Core Combat Plus. So guys, that's it for this Team Pack Monsuno review. I know it's been pretty long, but these are the first Monsuno reviews ever to hit YouTube, so I gotta cover every single thing. You might have seen that I had to take my poster board off. That's because these things do not like to spin on poster board. But when you get them on glass, they spin like crazy. So I'm gonna lock here, again, no pun, and spin him just so you can see how crazy these guys go. I'm still very surprised at how well these things spin. So the correct way to do this is to put your finger on the side that's the open side, and you want to get your finger on one of these spots that has paint on it. That's the optimal launching spot, I guess. So let's just push straight down without doing any backspin. Again, that looks terrifying on my camera. These things spin so fast that my camera does not want to pick it up. So let's try dimming the lights a little bit. And now you can see under the coffee table. Awesome. So let's try this one more time. With no backspin. Well, if I can get it. Yeah. Like I said, these go crazy, so they're just going to slam into the poster board and not really go anywhere. Kind of like that. There we go, it's a little better.